need to look
at the Swiss investment bank UBS, Kweku Adoboli, who got entangled in what has gone down in history as Britain's largest unauthorized trading loss of £1.4 billion sterling, has been sharing with Joy Business his ideas on how to strengthen Ghana's banking sector. He spoke with my colleague Charles Aite after taking his turn at the 2019 TEDx Tudu event here in Accra.
There's no need to look backwards. We need to look forward. And how what I care about now is how do I bring people here to be with us so that we can build things and move forward.
All right. Speaking of moving forward, ever since you touched down in Ghana, have you had specific engagements with people who would want to work with you?
Yeah, so some of them I can't talk about, obviously, but I've been focused on areas of how do we develop our markets, how do we create products that will unlock a lot of there's a lot of money in Ghana, right? But it's very hard to unlock it because there are no products or mechanisms to unlock them. So what we need to do is actually think strategically, what do we need to build to allow all of this money, pension fund money, money that's locked in housing, everyone pays for their house with cash, so there's no leverage of housing mortgage debt, right? And some of that is necessary for us to increase our ability to compete on a global scale. So a lot of my focus has been which areas can I contribute some of my expertise to. So there's a lot going on.
And what about the banks?
So I've, again, it's some things I can't say out loud, but I think, year two, so I've now entered year two. So year two is about creating alliances to share my knowledge, right? So I would really like to be able to go to all the banks and talk to all their employees and go to all the universities and talk to all their kids. And the more people I can talk to and work with to share knowledge and help people to develop critical thinking and resilience and problem solving, the further I can contribute something of value, and that's what I hope to do.
What about the potential of blockchain technology and how best we could tap into this field?
You're taking me way outside my actual core skill set. I think that, look, banking systems, payment systems in Ghana are challenged. It's a euphemism, they're challenged. And we have a lot of work to do to develop systems that are much more efficient, much lower levels of friction, much lower cost, right? Like 1% to do a Momo transfer is too much. 3 or 4% to release foreign currency that's been sent in is too much. Like, if the friction level is 1%, then nobody wants to spend any money, right? Just moving it around. And then when something goes wrong, it's really hard to fix it, right? So blockchain would help. What we need to do is not go incrementally, right? So you've got a legacy system, let's develop it a little bit. Actually, we need to think really big and go, how do we leapfrog so that we don't spend years and decades iterating forward? And blockchain is a mechanism that we could rely on either to build digital currencies or to understand the ledger better and be able to track payments and cash flows, etc. It would help us.
And away from that, the World Bank Country Director Pierre-Frank Laporte has indicated his opposition to the central bank's intervention to halt the Cedi's depreciation. His advice is coming at the time the Bank of Ghana is being pressured to increase dollar supply to help stabilize the situation. George Yafe has more.
For some, the comments by the World Bank Country Director can be described as interesting. This is because it's in sharp contrast to recent push by commercial banks that are calling for an increase in dollar supply to help meet the needs of their customers. The stance of the World Bank Country Director might be in line with the IMF, which recently in a statement advised the Bank of Ghana to also build up their international reserves for that rainy day. But Mr. Laporte tells Joy Business, even though he doesn't support dictating to regulators, there are some best international practices that can be considered.
The reason why I like free-floating exchange rate, even though it can be risky at times, is because it sends a signal. If your currency is depreciating, it's not because by chance. it's depreciating because there's a pressure or the conditions are there to allow it to depreciate. So if I'm a Minister of Finance, I see, or Governor, you see your currency depreciating, then you know something is wrong. Either sometimes you cannot control exogenous factors, it comes from outside, maybe commodity prices have fallen and you are getting much less dollars than you did before. That's normal. And even then you have to take action. Sometimes it could be because your fiscal expansion or your monetary expansion is too strong, and you have to correct it. So to me, the flexible exchange rate tells you always a story, and you should know how to read it and what to do about it.
Thank you very much for making time to watch Business on Joy News Prime tonight. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.